Welcome to Media Men Online. I am Dan. This is Jeremy.
Hello.
Spoilers ahead for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Part 7, Part 1.
Yes.
Tune in next time for Part 7, Part 2.
Yep. Which will probably be the final Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not really sure why this needs to be 2 parts or almost 3 hours long.
but also glad that it is.
Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like it just dragged on to you?
This one did not, no.
Hmm.
I was pretty excited through most of the movie. The first thing I wanted to bring up, now typically I'd read the synopsis, but TMDB has such a long one. It's like a paragraph and a half. Just going to skip it. We'll give our own as we go along here. So the first thing I want to mention is this movie kind of revitalized me. I was in a bit of a rut with new movies. We had Transformers, The Flash, Spider-Verse. I went and saw Asteroid City. Disney keeps dumping shit out. I didn't see any of that. Like,
I didn't see any of those movies.
I didn't see those either, but I'm just saying those are the movies that came out. I saw Asteroid City, and I was to the point where I wanted to get use out of my Regal Pass, so I went and saw that movie with Jennifer Lawrence that was like a shitty rom-com. You know what I'm talking about? Hard Feelings or something like that. But
I was like, man, can I get a refund on the last 4 months?
yeah, like what's the last really good movie we saw at the theater? Yeah, they've just been shit. I mean, the last movie we saw and talked about was Fast X, and that was not a good movie. So,
and this is the best Mission Impossible movie in a while, I think.
4, 5, 6, and 7 Part 1 are all fantastic. The first 3 that are good, but I feel like they've picked up. So I just wanted.
So you thought you thought 4, 5, and 6 were all fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they were fine.
We had in my town. We'll get into the movie in a second. We had a special screening Monday night, which is really weird. But I had messaged Jeremy after. I don't know if you guys out there go and see Regal movies, but we get the same commercial after the previews. It's the same thing every time, where it's people walking into a Regal theater and they say all these corny movie lines, and it's kind of,
this is nicer than my apartment.
Yeah. What they did to me did they do this to you as well?
Nope.
The lights dimmed down after whatever the intro was. Played that, and I thought we were going to go right into the movie, but then they started doing the previews. I was pissed. But did you also get behind the scenes footage before the movie started?
No, only thing I got was the thank you for coming out to the movies.
Really?
Yeah. And then we jumped directly into Tom Cruise being 20 years younger than he was on that video.
So, yeah, they showed a bit of behind the scenes footage right before the movie started. They showed that, the scene in Rome where they do the chase scene.
And the one where there's no traffic around the Coliseum? Yes, I remember that.
They did the entire thing with Tom Cruise actually driving one-handed. So if that helps you, it helped me enjoy the scene more.
Do you think Tom Cruise movies are better because he does his own stunts?
No, I think they're great either way. But knowing that kind of helped me enjoy it a little bit more, that bit. So who did it better? Who did the Rome chase scene better? Mission Impossible 7 or Fast 10?
Fast 10. Definitely going for something different than Mission Impossible is. Fast 10 was like, yeah, this piece of metal is going to burn for 8 hours.
Yeah, and there was no reason for the cops to be chasing Vin Diesel at that point. There's a flaming ball rolling down the street, and you're chasing the guy in the car. Cool. At least there was a reason behind this one. The premise, there is a Russian AI that becomes sentient. It's messing with all the technology. It's constantly expanding and evolving to the point where it's manipulating. It basically wants to control the world itself by continuously progressing and expanding through all of our technology, which we're all obsessed with. It turns into, well, what we hear from the American side is that there's a space race type situation to find this thing. And in order to unlock it, they need 2 parts to a key.
Yes.
Which is the coolest key I've ever seen. Nobody knows.
That's not how keys work, though. If you have a picture of a key, you have the key. Prison guards have to wear a little leather thing over their keychain, or prisoners would just make the key and leave.
Countries want to control it so they can control the world. Of course, America's at the forefront of that. And Cruise, aka Ethan Hunt, wants to destroy it. All they really need is the chick from Megan who created that robot, and she could duplicate it. Just give her about 6 days.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, then the robot would hypnotize a little girl.
Yeah.
And like no one would think it's weird that this thing is just the best friends with a child. The whole movie, one thing that like bothered me a little bit is how hard they work to not say AI. You know how zombie movies try to not say the word zombie?
Yeah, we don't use the Z word.
Yeah, we don't. World War Z, you mean, oh yes, the Z monsters.
Yeah.
And in this, they didn't want to say AI, like the entity. I'm like, did they summon like the Holy Ghost in this bitch or something? What are you talking about? It's obviously a computer program. The entity. I'm like, what? It's not an entity. It's a computer program. I did appreciate they didn't have it like talking like a person and being angry. Other movies would have like a face made of like dots or or something.
Absolutely.
With like eyebrows and like flaring nostrils that like got mad because Liam Neeson made a pun or whatever.
Yeah, and the color of the lights are blue when it's normally talking, but when it gets mad, they turn red.
Yeah. Once we found out it was an AI that was trying to take control, I understood why the torpedo attacked the sub.
Mm-hmm.
But if the AI had the ability to stop them from disarming a torpedo, why couldn't the AI just arm its own torpedo?
Oh, it couldn't physically load the torpedo.
Like it had control of the sonar.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of the 9-step process, why not just have the radio say, this is Captain Ahab, load the torpedoes. Then they load the torpedo and the torpedo goes off before they even launch it. What if the black guy in the hat was on the submarine and out-programmed the AI? My note for the plot is IT words.
I feel like this movie had not a ton. It had some humor, but the only humor that felt like out of place to me was that Italy chase scene when the yellow car is spinning in circle for like 45 seconds.
Yeah, that whole scene was a giant waste of time.
Yes, it felt out of place, and it felt like the MCU crept in for a minute. Like we're watching Guardians of the Galaxy and they're talking about the intercom buttons for 14 minutes. We got a little dose of that, but most of the humor, like towards the end when the train is tipped upside down. Oh, do you trust me? And she shakes her head no. Like that was comical, but it didn't take away from the scene. Like still the fear with her. I just thought it was done excellently, except for the yellow car.
The best part of the movie is the first mask pull. Mm-hmm. The guy's in the secret room, and I guess everyone knows who he was because he was the guy that was missing, but he wasn't missing because he was there. I was like, oh, I do love a good Mission Impossible mask pull.
Yeah.
But you would think that anytime they're worried about Tom Cruise's character, they'd be like checking people for masks.
Yeah.
If I was like, okay, this might be a mission that Tom Cruise invested in, I'm stabbing everyone with a thumbtack this week.
Yeah.
Like when I go to Arby's to get a sandwich, I'm reaching across that countertop and I'm smacking someone with a.
Hilariously, the cop that was hunting him, every time he got up to somebody, he'd pull on their face. Like,
that is the only smart person in this entire universe. That guy, did he give you like Gary Busey vibes?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm like, this guy's about to eat a hoagie.
They kind of do this thing with the entity where he has you're
not saying it right, Dan. The entity.
Has an avatar. It's the guy who killed his woman in the first one, all the way back in Mission Impossible 1. And he's kind of just like an overconfident douchebag because the entity is constantly giving him directions and it's telling it worked out all the possibilities and things like that. So
yeah, I wish it was like an earbud thing, so it'd be like, and he could like go and do the stuff instead of like, I'm assuming he memorized everything for the next week because he's sleeping in his like Daredevil pod or whatever with his.
Yeah, what the hell was that? He was
with
in
his
like a
click
casket.
mask on, like, is he being hypnotized by it? Like,
at first I thought, okay, so he snuck onto the train.
I gotta interrupt you. Have you ever played the Command and Conquer Red Alert series?
No.
Okay, so in that series, there's a character called Yuri that like does like a and then hypnotizes people. So
Yeah.
World War III starts by the Soviets sending nukes to America, and then every nuclear base in America gets a phone call from the brain control guy and detonates the nukes in the silos. And then the game starts. And that's what I was thinking when I saw that helmet thing. I'm like, oh no.
Like, I thought they put him in that so he could, I mean, I guess he was getting more instructions or whatever's wrong with him. Maybe he'll be a robot by the second part. But it just seemed odd that they put him in like this tomb to sneak him onto the, like, the people inspecting the train weren't they curious as to this gigantic freaking coffin that they snuck on?
Is there really a vampire weird in here?
Yeah. So he meets Haley Atwell at the airport. Yeah. So basically, they're going to meet the buyer. They have this whole plan to give the buyer both halves of the key so that they can track it. Haley Atwell picks the pocket, and we find out later it's bi-direction. But she picks the pocket of the guy, steals the key. Tom Cruise steals the key from her, and then turns out
Well, first he does a magic trick.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever watched a sitcom where one of the characters gets into magic,
yeah,
you've seen a good 20 minutes of this movie before.
So he swindles her and steals it, does some magic on her, and then he's like, "Oh, well,
she steals it back."
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I took your virginity while I was at it, and all this stuff." He took everything from her and gave her a lighter. Why did he need her to give the key back to the guy if he's an excellent pickpocket as well? That was my
fucking hottie, Dan.
I see.
Did you see her? She is a smoke show. I need her to put something in my pocket. Look in your pocket. It's my phone number.
It's basically just so he can have a shot at her, right? That's the only reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, his old girlfriend is like almost half his age now.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I feel like they did the other woman dirty this movie.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't she a major character in the prison? Now she's just fucking gone.
Yep.
She had 2 fight scenes and she just fucking dies.
Pretty cool fight scene on the bridge too. Like she held her own for a little while and then just gets iced. So like once the guy goes, "One of you have to die. The key will be at my feet by day's end or by tomorrow morning." Mm-hmm. And I knew which one he was saving. He's like, "Well, I already had that one." So
yeah. He had too much FaceTime with the new girl for the other one to live, basically.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things in movies. Like, if Bruce Willis has an ex-wife and you're married to her, you are so fucking dead. Like, I have... my next note is women drivers. Am I right? Like, they both crashed the car like 5 times.
She's doing like the Austin Powers when he's stuck in the hallway sideways with that machine, trying to do a U-turn.
My next note is fuck your Euro trash bicycles. He rode over like 20 of those mopeds or whatever. Are those an advertisement for mopeds, or was the owner of that moped company, did they rip off someone getting this movie like, yeah, fuck those mopeds? Or do they have a bunch of free mopeds? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, in the airport, they have a classic bomb defusal. Turns out the bomb does not go off. Shocker. I'll be honest. Every time I see a ticking time bomb, I'm like, well, the main character's in the blast radius, so it's probably not going to go off. And it never does. Next time I'm in a movie and there's a time bomb, I'm going to the bathroom. It's like the opposite of Kochak's gun or whatever it's called. If you ever see a bomb, it can't possibly go off. And you can't deactivate it until there's less than 10 seconds left. Has anyone ever disarmed a bomb with more than a minute left? Like, don't even call the bomb squad until it's 2 minutes till.
Yeah, and this guy, he solves it with like 0.2 seconds left. That was the closest I'd ever seen. It's like 0.23, I believe. So I don't know if we mentioned, but this movie, the runtime is 2 hours and 43 minutes.
And it's not a slow-paced movie.
No.
I'm not sure what you would cut other than the yellow car.
Nothing. I mean, would cut the yellow car.
It's all action and MacGuffin chasing, basically.
Yep.
I mean, you could like cut out whole sections.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like John Wick 4, where it's like, I know exactly what you can fucking cut in this movie.
Yeah.
But also, it's all competently done, but it was all kind of done the same way. How many times did Tom Cruise get saved at the last second? Every time. That's how many times.
Yeah, suspense.
And I was like, oh no. So talking about the train entry, I was like, oh no, is the main character is the main female just going to die? Is Tom Cruise not going to make it on the train after he promised to be on the train? Of course not. The only question I had was, is he coming through the roof or the window? Both of them are deeply impractical. How did that not kill him? That was a steam engine.
Because it's
he
part
went through
one
it with
of two.
His face. He's not Tom Cruise. He's the fucking Kool-Aid man.
By the way, speaking of John Wick, these 4 movies, starting Ghost Protocol to this, the last 4 Mission Possible, I'd take them any day over these John Wick movies. There's only so many times I can see somebody shoot someone at point blank range and not have them die.
I would say that seeing someone shot at point blank range and not dying is not any more annoying than the train car falling as soon as they get out of it. It literally happened with 4 train cars in a row. Like, oh, is this one going to hold on? Well, it will until they get off of it.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just like, the whole, actually, I know what I would cut. The whole train falling thing. Yeah. Oh, they're going to fall to death. No, I'm just watching creative climbing now.
Yeah, so basically with that, they're not going to die, but I thought it was just interesting how they were like scrambling to get out and like what they had to do to get out. Because at any point did I think the bomb was going to blow up in the airport? No, but the tension that I had was, how the hell are they going to do this? That was how I felt. At any point, I did not think Tom Cruise was going to die, and I didn't think Haley Atwell was going to die. But it just, there was still tension. I still felt, it because it's like, how, like, what is going to happen?
I felt no tension. Like I put the whole falling as soon as you climb off of it in the same vein of 2 people having a hand-to-hand fight. And then, like, if one of them has a gun, the other one wins the fight and takes the gun. But then the other one wins the fight and takes the gun back.
So basically, we get a cool action scene where they are jumping through trains that are falling. And you're just like, I'm just here waiting for it to end. Oh, but on the note of that Tom Cruise entrance, it actually surprised me. Like, I
really?
jumped. Yeah. When he popped through the window. Because I was just expecting him to, like, land on the roof and, bust through. But I didn't expect him to come. And the sound it made, so I was in IMAX. Thankfully, it wasn't 3D because I can't handle it, apparently. But yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. If there was somebody you saw every single day for, I don't know, we'll say 2 years.
Yeah.
And they had bright blue eyes. And then when you saw them after there was some commotion in her train car and she came out with brown eyes, would you be a little suspicious?
When they're only if she's acting real sketchy.
Yeah, and saying that. Yeah.
How the fuck do they get the voice right but not the eyes?
Right. Yeah, I couldn't believe that when she had brown eyes. I was like, how isn't mustache guy like, oh, I call bullshit on this. What happened to your eyes?
Because, like, you would think that someone as well connected as her would know about the mask, and thus her security would know about the mask. Again, everyone's getting thumbtacks in the face if I'm head of security.
Yeah, and the dude she sits down to have $100 million money transfer to some random account knows about it because he just got his own face masked earlier in the movie. So I don't know. He's like, oh, I haven't seen you since you were a little girl. Yeah.
You're not Kelly.
Yeah.
Even the subtitles in this movie are plot dependent. I forget what scene it was, but like they had subtitles and then they got to the plot point and the subtitles stopped. I'm like, oh, fuck you.
I don't remember that at all. I don't remember subtitles.
They were speaking like Russian about something. And then when like they got to the AI, the subtitles just turned off and then they turned back on and they turned off again.
That is strange. I didn't notice that. I'm probably going to go see this tomorrow.
Again, if you enjoy the Mission Impossible movies, then you're going to enjoy this one. I will admit, though, I am kind of weary of the action cliches.
There's a couple things I wanted to bring up here before we give our verdicts. So, Letterboxd is a review site I've been using, and I type up reviews on there every now and then. Maybe I guess I'll promote it. So it's at Media Men on Letterboxd. I went through and rated so many movies. It's crazy. I did a review for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 when I got home yesterday or Monday. That's neither here nor there. So I did a review, and as soon as I typed in the review and hit save, some text came up, and it was in the format of it kind of looked like The Matrix. And it was saying things like, this message is corrupt, unable to continue, whatever. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. And then it gets down to 2, and then it's halted. It says something. I'll put it up on the screen. I can't remember.
July Fools.
No, it goes, message stopped by Agent Ethan Hunt. Resume with something like that. It was the coolest fucking thing because I didn't expect it. And I've done so many reviews on there that once I hit submit, I was like, what the hell's going on? But it was just a cool thing. So submit a Letterboxd review if you want to see that. But I'll screen cap it and post it on here. So as you said, if you like Mission Impossible movies, you'll like this movie because it's basically American James Bond.
Yes. It's really a replacement for James Bond because James Bond has become Jason Bourne.
Yeah, true. The runtime now you said it, you felt it a little bit, but the movie is so filled with shit going on.
It's not a slow 3-hour movie.
No.
But it is 3 hours of Mission Impossible.
John Wick 4 was a 3-hour movie, and there was a lot going on throughout the entire thing, but it dragged in the case of this fight scene. It has been going on for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't get that here.
Yeah, it doesn't all, like, the John Wick all runs together. It's like you put a yellow and a red shirt in the wash at the same time. This one is definitely your rainbow flag beach towel.
Yeah. What are you going to give it out of 10?
I'll do 8.
8 out of 10. Okay. So for me,
this is a good Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, it is very good. I would agree with that. Maybe a little bit more than you would, but this is the best movie. This is better than Sisu. Sisu was top of the list so far this year. Have you seen that yet?
I've not seen Sisu.
So initially I thought that the ending they had where Ethan takes the key from the bad guy, and I thought initially they should have ended it with us thinking that the bad guy had it. But I've since had a change of heart because it feels like this is its own movie now. The whole MacGuffin, if you will, was the key. They got the key. So you can watch this movie by itself. You don't necessarily have to watch the second one. On Letterboxd, a 4.0 out of 5. And on TMDB, an 81% out of 100, of course. I don't think there's going to be any numbers right now. So on Tuesday, July 11th, Mission Impossible made $7 million. It's not even technically out yet. So,
yeah, this movie's going to do quite well.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident of that. I mean, people really want a movie that's going to deliver what they want from it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Renfield did as bad as it did because they didn't give.
They bait and switched us. They gave us. We wanted Nick Cage and Nick Holt, and they gave us that cop lady.
Yeah,
check out our Renfield review.
This movie, although it sounds impossible, stayed on its mission.
Yeah,
I'm so clever. None of them are as good as Mission Impossible 1, because that one was just so fucking cool when I first saw it.
No, I totally disagree. I would say that the first one is probably fifth now, behind 4, 5, 6, 7, Part 1. In the original trilogy, I would say it was the best one.
I think that'll do it for us. Let us know what you think about Mission Impossible 7 down in the comments. All right, so on that note, we will catch you guys later.
Later.